A very good morning and welcome back to our special broadcast of this Women's Parliament here at View from the House. Now, Abra, you were talking to MPs?
Yes, Asanda, we've managed to line up 3 MPs, one from the ANC, one from the DA and one from COPE, the 3 biggest political parties in Parliament. But before we go there, we're first going to go to the Northwest, which was the scene of the recent killings at the Lonmin mine. What we are going to be doing, we're going to be looking at the impact of those killings on the broader community.
Now, our colleague Muthupi Sekaku from the Northwest went to Marikana and spent some time with the women who've now been widowed following the incident there 2 weeks ago. Let's go to the Northwest and hear from the women there.
Over 28,000 mine workers from all over the countries, including those from the neighboring countries, were employed at Lonmin Platinum Mine. Problems started when the workers demanded their salaries to be increased to 12,500. Mine management declined their demands. The workers decided to go on strike since August 30. Most of them were not affiliated to any union. They assembled at a small waterpop copy just outside Lonmin Platinum Mine. Police tried to disperse the striking workers, but it ended in violent clashes, resulting in the death of more than 34 workers and over 70 wounded. 260 workers were arrested on charges ranging from murder, attempted murder, illegal gathering, public violence, and possession of illegal firearms. 24-year-old Papili Dingwana left a 1-year-old baby, 3 younger sisters, and a brother. All are unemployed. They were depending on him. A 26-year-old Hosala Mutlu will be buried at Bonarkop on Saturday, the 1st September. He survived by his parents who are not working.
He was a breadwinner. He was doing everything for his parents. We do not know who's going to take care of us. We were entirely dependent on him. His parents are both not working.
A group of women of those who are arrested staged a protest action outside Garangua Magistrate Court. They were demanding the release of their husbands.
He's a breadwinner at his home. His mother is always crying every day, willing to see his son coming back at home, coming back to work.
We are asking the release of our husband from jail. My husband is supporting baby twins. If he is in jail, how do we going to survive? My eyes are full of tears. My heart is broken.
He left a baby and his mother who is bedridden. He has caused me a high blood pressure. I am constantly consulting a doctor.
We've got no income at home since my husband was arrested. We do not know what are we going to do. I have a 1-month-old baby. I left her at home in the Eastern Cape. I came here for the court case of my husband. I do not know how the baby will survive.
The future of the families of those who are still in jail is bleak. They do not know whether their husband will ever go back to work or they will face a long-term jail sentence. Muthupi Sekaku, A View from the House, Marikana.
Thank you for that insert by our colleague in the Northwest, Muthupi Sekaku. I'm now joined by 3 ladies from various parties represented in Parliament. We have the chair of the Portfolio Committee on Women, Children and People with Disabilities, Ms. Dorothy Ramodibe. The DA's Shadow Minister for that same committee, Denise Robinson. And then from COPE, we have representing COPE, Nosimo Nalindlela. Now, ladies, thank you all for joining me and for sharing your views here today. The first question I'm posing to all 3 of you, starting with the ANC. Is Women's Parliament a useful tool to improve women and gender issues? And ma'am, do you think the costs involved are justified?
Yes, indeed. Women's Parliament is going to be a very useful instrument, especially in that the approach this time is different. The approach will move away from a day's event to a systematic program on improving the rights of women and gender equality.
And the costs, ma'am?
The costs are justified because the provinces that have been invited, they are carrying their own cost. So the only cost that is going to be borne by Parliament is for the venue. And they'll be paying for their accommodations as well. That's what the invitation said.
The DA, your response, please.
Women's Day is very important, and Women's Month. Women have come from a background of patriarchal attitudes, and it's important that we convey the change that has come. However, while this event is a good one, I think that what we should do is to make sure that these events are carried through the year. This is a very costly event. I believe it could be something like 1.7 million and more. I would like to see that money used on legacy projects, on things that are permanent. So while we do have this as a good venue for giving people the opportunity to see how the role of women has changed, I believe it could be done more cost effectively and with a better legacy process. For example, last year's program and all the results and findings were only tabled a couple of weeks ago in Parliament, and this is a failing. We need to make sure that the words are translated into action and into deeds.
Okay, thank you for that, Ms. Robinson. Ms. Nalindi Love-Cope, is this a useful
that it's not just an instrument by word, but you can see it in the women who are leading in Parliament, the Deputy Speaker, and even in the NCOP. But I think what we need to do is to try and strengthen the roots where the women are, particularly in the rural areas. Because here in Parliament, you are able to link with other Commonwealth bodies, with the Pan-African bodies. So we find that South Africa and Africa in all is united. So in a way, it's a very good and strong and influential way of getting women to be all over.
Now, I want to pose this question to the DA because you spoke about change. A change that, well, the lack of change in women in top managerial positions that's been criticized by various sectors. And this seems to be happening mostly in the private sector. Who's to blame for this?
I don't know that one should blame anybody in particular. I think it's a process to which we have to work. We can't ignore the past, where women were not always given equal opportunities and were not given educational opportunities. So while we want women to be in top positions, I think they have to earn those positions. They have to work their way up. So it's not a matter of parachuting people in, but working towards a target. But everybody needs to be open. Women need the opportunities for education to be able to grow. And then business and government must be open to give recognition to people who have potential. I think this is what is most important, that people must be fit for purpose, they must be equipped for the job, and then we can go forward to make sure that women have an equal role and are not regarded as second-class citizens.
To the chair of the committee, ma'am, I would like to know from you, you'll be looking at the proposed Women Empowerment and Gender Equality Draft Bill. What is government hoping to achieve through this bill?
I think moving from the past, we have had laws that have been put into place, but because they were not, enforced, therefore they did not have an impact, on all the departments. Because if we talk of gender equality, we are not only referring to women, but we are referring to men and women, which has to cut across all the departments for implementation. Now, I believe that with the Women Empowerment and Gender Equality Bill, we will be able to have this enforced. The minister will be able to put into implementation her mandate, and we will also be able to have measures put in place for empowerment.
Unfortunately, we only have time for those few questions. Ladies, thank you very much for joining us. It was a pleasure having you here. We're now going back to an ad break. Please do stay tuned.